Hi team, I hope you are all well. Today I'm going to be doing an announcement for It's Sci-Fi July, which is not going to be a readathon. It's not going to be a readathon. It's basically, I just want to read a bunch of sci-fi in July, and I decided to push myself by making a couple prompts on a bingo board, and then asked on Twitter if people would want to see this bingo board, if they might want to take part, like loosely or whatever, and the answer was yes. So I thought I would do a bit of a announcement video for it and show you the bingo board, just talk you through it a little bit, maybe make a couple recommendations or whatever, or suggestions. And yeah, I thought that's what I would do. I have my Stars Laboratories jumper on, you know, for those of you that are the Flash fans.
What did you just say?
Because I don't own a NASA t-shirt. I did try and get one, but they're very expensive. So anyway, let's go through the bingo board, shall we? There are 25 prompts on this bingo board. The middle one is a free one, so let's go through them one by one. I'm not going to make recommendations for all of these because we'll be here forever, but just for some of them that may be a little bit, well, what would count for that kind of thing. So we have a reread, which is nice and easy. Just reread a favourite sci-fi maybe. If it's, doesn't matter if it's a graphic novel or a full-blown novel, it doesn't matter. Reread a favourite. Stars on the cover / in the title, so this could have stars on the cover in general, or it could just be stars in the star in the title. Starsight, for example, would count. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars would count. So yeah, stars in the title, star or stars in the title or on the cover. A big book, so anything over 500 pages works for this one, so take your pick, there's plenty of them out there. A space opera, if you Google space opera books, they will come up. They're pretty cool books, they look awesome. Leviathan Wakes counts as a space opera, I'm pretty certain, so check those out, have a butcher's. A new release, anything that's come out in the last year counts, so a new release for that. Project Hail Mary would be a reasonable suggestion. I think that's recently, very recently just come out. So a book that is done by multiple authors, so for example, let me just grab a couple of these. They're done by multiple authors. The Illuminae Files, J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Aurora Rising, J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I've no doubt there's many others by multiple authors, so you could pick one of those as well. A recommendation from someone else, so this could be from anybody, but I have recently just done a sci-fi recommendations video, so I will leave that up here. If you want to get a recommendation from me, please feel free to do so. If you want to get a recommendation from someone else, please feel free to do so. A dystopia book, so any type of dystopia book. Dystopia is a subgenre of sci-fi, so I wanted to fit that on here because I've got a couple of dystopia books I want to get to. So a dystopia. A book that's blurbed by a favourite author. This isn't as easy as you think it might be, so I've got a couple of books in front of me. Let's see if I can find one that's blurbed by a favourite author. This is basically having a butcher's at the front of the book, and sometimes on occasion there may be a, let's see if I can find one. I should have done this before I started filming, but I did not. Naturally. So for example, let me show you what a blurb would look like. On the front of Project Hail Mary, Ernest Cline has put original, compelling and fun. So this, for example, would work for Becca because she loves Ready Player One, which is written by Ernest Cline, so she could read this on for that prompt, just as an example. That obviously doesn't work for me. I'm going to have to do some research and see if I can find one that has been blurbed by a favourite author, considering I haven't read many sci-fi books. I am going to have to find something. Struggles. All of the books I'm picking up, none of these have been blurbed by a favourite author. We're doing well. We're doing well. Oh, hang on. A vibrant, action-packed shot of adrenaline by Leigh Bardugo. Warcross by Marie Lu. That works. Oh, there we go. A glorious explosion of everything you love about sci-fi. Samantha Shannon has blurbed Aurora Rising. There you go. There we go. Never have I ever read a book so wholly unique and utterly captivating. Marie Lu. So there are those around. That's basically what I mean by that. I'm going to have to do some hunting, obviously, for my own. A book with POC/author rep. So a book that has POC rep in it or is written by an author of colour. So yeah, just take your pick. There are many out there. Comedy sci-fi. So for this one, this is something that it's a sci-fi, but it's got a punch of comedy in it. So for me, The Martian counts for this because I think this is hilarious. It's not actually pitched as comedy sci-fi, but I think this is really funny.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
But other recommendations that I have are The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I believe is hilarious. I have heard great things. Let me just have a quick butchers at my list at my other recommendations for comedy sci-fi. Red Dwarf, I'll leave a picture of it here because I don't own it. And also All Systems Red by Martha Wells. I've heard brilliant things about this one. It is on my TBR, hopefully for the month of July, so it's on my radar. Then we have a middle grade sci-fi. So for this one, I am planning on reading Orion Lost, which I'll show a picture of here because it's over there and I can't bother going and getting it. But yeah, I've no doubt there are hundreds of middle grade sci-fis, so just have a butchers around. Then we've got the free space. Then share your TBR. This could be TBR video, picture on Instagram. If you want to use the hashtag it's sci-fi July and hashtag on Twitter, I will probably find them on there as well. So just share your TBR somewhere. A book that's part of a series. So if you're partway through a series, pick a book up from that series that's a sci-fi series. This is just to encourage you along because I've no doubt there's quite a few of you here that want to continue on with a series and you're just not picking the next book up. So here's your shot. A classic sci-fi. So for this one, again, I have a bit of a list going. Some that will count for this are War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, also 1984 by George Orwell. I also have on here I Am Legend, Dune, and also The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy would count for this one as well. So just, if you're not sure, Google classic sci-fi books recommendations or whatever. An adaptation, so a book to movie adaptation, for example The Martian works for this one. Dune is going to be adapted, so that works for that one. I Am Legend, World War Z, The War of the Worlds, many of these have been adapted. This has been adapted, right? Leviathan Wakes, the Expanse series, this has been adapted. So many options. Just have a butchers around. A book featuring aliens. So for this one, I actually have no idea what I'm going to read, but you know what could count? This. I know they're like robots, but they're still aliens, so that would count. Off the top of my head, this would count because the Corel are aliens, essentially. Yeah, I haven't read many books with aliens in it, so just a book with aliens in it. Another species essentially would count as well. So for example, in this one we have many different types of species, so I would let that count as well. So just aliens / another species would count for that. Let's go with that. This is very, I'm not monitoring it, like it's just a bit of fun. Like, it's just a bingo board. You don't have to complete all of these prompts. It's a bingo board, so you can do a line across, a line diagonally, a line wherever you want. It's just a bit of fun. I'm not policing anything. There is no need to ask me questions. Does this count for this? If you think it counts, read it. I'm not policing it. I honestly do not care. Read what you want to read. I just want a bit of fun in July. So watch a sci-fi. Just watch sci-fi movie or sci-fi program or something.
Oh, fuck you, Mars.
Sci-fi horror. So for this one, so the recommendations I have and the one I'm going to be reading, The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starlin. I've heard great things about this one and I believe it's terrifying, so well, there's that. I also have recommendations of I Am Legend, which is a sci-fi horror. I have the recommendation of The Fireman by Joe Hill. I have not read this yet. It is on my unhaul cart, so if I can get to this would be awesome. I have the recommendation of Leviathan Awakes by James S.A. Corey. Also World War Z, and also Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. So yeah, those are some recommendations for you for sci-fi horror. A backlist book, so again for me, like The Fireman would work. I've had this for ages. That would work for me. Something that's been on your TBR for a while and you've been meaning to get to. Book that's got LGBTQ plus rep in it, so some queer rep in it. For example, this would work. There is queer rep in here. Winter's Orbit would work for this one. I believe there's queer rep in here. So yeah, just a book with queer rep in it. Sci-fi book with queer rep in it, obviously. A book that's set on Earth, so a book that is sci-fi but set on Earth. There are many of these around off the top of my head. So the Mortal Engines would work for this. It's a dystopia, but it's set on Earth. So that would work for this one. So I would just recommend Googling, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what I'm going to read for this one, to be quite honest with you. I've got no idea what I'm going to read for this one. I mean, it could be part set on Earth as well. No, it should probably be just set on Earth. I was going to say this could count because it's part set on Earth, but also not, maybe. So yeah, book that's set on Earth. And then we have a book with spacecraft on it. I will also, I mean, right now it says spacecraft on it. I'm going to change this so that it can say like spacecraft or an astronaut or like space station or something set on it. So for this, The Martian could work because it's got an astronaut on the cover. Artemis could work because it's got an astronaut on the cover. In fact, all of Andy Weir's books could work because they all have astronauts on the cover. Skyward works because there is a spacecraft on the cover, space station, and an astronaut, well, astronaut on the cover, pilot. Starsight, the next in the Skyward one. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, I would say counts, I think. Leviathan Awakes. So yeah, something with a spacecraft and an astronaut or a space station on the cover, and or a space station on the cover. And then finally, graphic novels. So for this one, recommendations I have are Descender. I also have Saga as a recommendation, and also Ascender, which is the follow-on from Descender. They are some recommendations that I have, so I would just have a Google if you want to find some recommendations for some of these prompts, because that's the easiest thing to do. But yeah, those are just some very brief recommendations from me on some of those prompts. But yeah, overall it's just going to be really, really low key. I'm not policing anything. There's no need to ask me any questions. If you think it counts, it counts. Nobody's policing anything. This isn't a readathon. Public service announcement, not a readathon. I just wanted to do a bingo board to help myself along, and then thought I would make it public, and now we're here making an announcement video. So yeah, do as you wish with these prompts. If you want to take part, yay. If you don't want to take part, also yay. But yeah, I would love to see your TBR. So I wouldn't tag me specifically in them because I then get inundated with notifications and I can't keep up. It's really hard for me to keep up, but I will be checking the hashtag It's Sci-Fi July on all platforms, so do go and feel free to use the hashtag, but please don't tag me in everything because I cannot keep up. If you're doing a story, that's fine on Instagram, but like your TBRs and stuff, I will not be able to keep up, but the hashtag I will be checking, so please do feel free to use the hashtag if you wanna. But yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you have some decent recommendations there. Also, do check out my sci-fi recommendations video if you haven't done so already. I will leave it up here. I would really appreciate that, and you might get some really decent recommendations as well. And for those of you that are going to join in, yay, I'm excited. I hope you are too. For those of you that aren't, I appreciate if you've watched this video anyway. I appreciate you all, and thank you so much for being here. And if you got to the end of the video, leave me a rocket ship emoji just so I know you're here. If you decide not to leave a comment, if you are taking part, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Bye for now.